Book bans often make the news, but I honestly don't think they're as worrying as the media often make it out to be. And let me use two popular books to illustrate this point. The two books held up as the definitive pillars of political dystopia are George Orwell's 1984 and Elvis Huxley's Brave New World. But the governments in those books have completely different ways of controlling the population. In fact, in Brave New World, the population basically controls itself. Let me explain. Neil Postman wrote about this in his book, Amusing Ourselves to Death. He said, what Orwell feared was those who would ban books. What Huxley feared was there would be no reason to ban a book, for there would be no one who wanted to read one. Orwell feared those who would deprive us of information. Huxley feared those who would give us so much that we would be reduced to passivity and egoism. Orwell feared that the truth would be concealed from us. Huxley feared that the truth would be would be drowned in a sea of irrelevance. By the way, Neil Postman says that Elvis Huxley's view of the future is much more accurate to our own than George Orwell's. Essentially, what he's saying is that the sea of knowledge plus our insatiable need for easy distraction makes banning books almost unnecessary in controlling the message because everyone is so distracted by their own rabbit holes. And I also lean towards Huxley being more accurate here because censors see themselves as doing a good thing by purging dangerous information. They don't see themselves as being the bad guy that's controlling the masses, right? So we're doing far more harm to ourselves by over-consuming content and becoming under-discerning and passive in our reading. Overconsumption makes us fall into bubbles that make us oblivious to what's going on in other bubbles, regardless of how important the issues in other bubbles might really be. Having a myopic view of what's happening around us essentially leads to censoring ourselves from everything outside our bubbles. Like, it used to be that we always lived in the same, for the most part, lived in the same bubble, and that we discussed and referred to the same information, the same books and movies and political conversations. Like, we at the very least agreed on reality. All of that to say, a censored society might resist oppression, but a distracted society won't even notice its own decline.